create their own structure around. This FlyQuest team, they're at their best when they form some like nicely scaling into mid and late game 5-on-5 team fights, you know, front to back structure. I feel like they do other strategies, of course they do, but I simply feel like that is their most comfortable approach. Meanwhile, FlyQuest, unless you, I would still ban the Sion because
unless you want to first pick it, but then I guess
then they can Trundle you. They can Trundle you, and JunJia is a really good Trundle.
Ban Trundle, force the Sion ban, and then get yourself something that would otherwise not be banned. Okay, they're looking for a Ryze angle potentially. Of course, Quad is just a really good Cassiopeia player regardless, but I would expect that's more about trying to get your hands onto a Ryze.
Interesting, they remain perma-banning Doggo's Caitlyn as well. He did perform very well on that one, but Doggo's performed well on a lot of champions, so
yeah.
Let's see what is going to be their final choice here, because this discussion between the Sion and the Rumble it gains more priority here. Like, Sion looks so good, not only because the Trundle proposition, but Ambessa is banned, and Ambessa has been the go-to, you know, answer into the Sion. So that puts a lot of pressure here on first pick Sion if CFO don't ban it.
The problem for me is if they don't first pick it, then, I mean, if Rest picks that up and they get something else, because like you leave Wukong up, I imagine Wukong would also be very high priority.
If you are banning Ambessa right now, you got to first pick the Sion, even though they can Trundle you. I think you still do it.
And we have seen the Trundle picked, even though it's Trundleable. Trundleable, fun word. As we'll see whether it is actually going to be the decision. Obviously, the Kaiser Hover is going to come in first, but then Bwipo, will it just be? Okay, he's the little grin.
You know, yeah, you know. Okay, yeah.
It's like enough funny business, enough funny business.
I was sweating a little. You know, they did give the carry Bard to T1, but let's see what the answer. Okay, here the cheeky hover.
Imagine if he did it though.
Yeah.
Imagine if he did it.
Right back into Bwipo, who has been a fan of this champion.
Isn't it ridiculous? They're not even smiling. You know? Yeah. It's like.
I mean, should be Ryze Trundle, right?
I mean, Ryze Trundle feels pretty good. Gonna be a lot of like pretty short range, so might be an opportunity for Fly to be able to capitalize on that. Let's see. Expecting the Troll King.
Expecting it, but what would they then be worried about Inspired doing? Like, theoretically here. Okay, yeah, just do it no matter what anyway.
Zed.
Yeah.
The Zed into Trundle angle. I don't know. Inspired, of course, has a lot of other things that he could do if we go back.
I mean, he could Ivern. So if I'm thinking about it theoretically, he could Ivern. Ivern is quite good into Trundle because you make it hard for the Trundle to move around the fights. And it would be a FlyQuest classic of doing the front-to-back team fights I was talking about, where they build for just a crazy 5-on-5. Okay, Qiyana is the other way. You can go for the extra mobility here, try and dance around him and burst him instead.
This is a pick that I imagine LPL commentators would be like, oh wow, this is such a really good Qiyana angle. I, on the other hand, and I've been talking about it all worlds, I'm sorry if I'm a broken record, I'm terrified of Qiyana. I think the champion doesn't necessarily work all that well, but let's see whether Inspired can teach me otherwise. As Quad going to go back towards the Annie, certainly a lot of comfort here for him.
Yeah, I feel like if you're not Kanavi or like Tien or Tarzan, then it does reduce a little bit of the excitement, but we've definitely had other good Qiyanas as well. So,
Inspired pretty good at the video game too, so I think that we could probably trust him to make it work out. HongQ, let's see what he's going to be picking up here, whether it's going to be something for Rest or whether it's going to be something else. Rest looking for his Rek'Sai license. There have been only a couple of players that have made this work, as Keen did manage to pick up another win outside of just Flandre.
Yeah, I mean, Keen was brutalizing that lane. Like, Keen got massive tower plate advantage, absolutely made the Rek'Sai counter into Sion really worth it, got huge extra gold value. Played the lane really well, so we'll see if Rest can replicate that success into Bwipo's Sion.
And now some bans to come on through here. I do feel like CFO want something with a bit of range, something with potentially a bit of safety. Like, I'm thinking either you go like max range artillery type style, like a Varus or something like that, but you could also Ezreal this if they would like to. But first going to be focusing on banning away some support so the Busio isn't going to have anything that he likes. Of course, Annie Rakan, fantastic combo.
And FlyQuest already have like really straightforward, explosive engage. You know they're going to try and quickly engage on you. So the other possibilities of counter engage for CFO are things that you also have to worry about. But the Kai'Sa possibilities no longer here. FlyQuest will deny at least that from Doggo bottom lane. Maybe they were thinking like a Kai'Sa Nautilus or something was going to show up.
Kai'Sa would also actually work out for FlyQuest here, actually, if they did manage to get their hands on it, because they don't necessarily have the most magic damage with this composition, and Qiyana does have a fair bit of damage herself. Does make you less incentivized to build armor if you're going the full hybrid build, but the Ezreal actually going to be banned on CFO's side, so maybe my manifestation is actually turned into champions that are going to get banned rather than what's actually going to get picked up. FlyQuest with Braum takeaway. He's going to get rid of that one. So Doggo, what's it going to be? I expect he's going to lock in an AD carry here.
Yeah, and then you're looking at the engaged supports like Rel. Some of them have been whittled down here. Rel looks pretty good because there's no more Braum or Alistar or Rakan. So we'll see maybe Bard counter engages as well. Extra safety there if you don't want to like pick a Xayah or something. But
oh, Neeko's still up. That is kind of crazy. This champion has been picked or banned throughout most of Worlds, but kind of slipped under the radar in this one, but I guess that does make sense. A bit of a shapeshifter. Yeah. It's Massu. Let's see what we're going to be rounding out this fly composition with.
And they have the radar on their team with the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, true.
So they control the radar as well as the one that will slip by it. Okay, here we go. Elimination, your entire year on the line, and we get North American Lucian Nami. This is backs against the wall elimination game from Worlds 2025. The entire year for FlyQuest here, such high expectations. They are going heavy engage, and they are going Lucian, Nami, must win into CFO.
There is so much follow-up as well from all of like the CC that can land, right? You get an unstoppable onslaught, supreme display of talent, Tibbers, wave, everything
Doggo
comes
Draven!
in. It's Doggo's Draven, okay! Oh no, if I'm Busio right here, I'm like, oh, Nami, Lucian, this is such a powerful lane, they're gonna be great. And then you see the Draven, like, those axes, even at Fields level 2, take half of your health bar.
Yeah, Doggo Draven is fearsome. All right.
Well, it's probably going to be a lane swap again. And that makes me feel even more worried because we saw what he did there on the top side of the map. We'll see whether it can be another early cash in here for Doggo. As CFO, they are not messing around. They want to finish this up 2-0 so they can focus on the best of fives.
Oh man, so much extra pressure too on the scouting for level 1 to play the guessing game of who is going to go top, and are you going to guess that they're guessing that you're going to implement the lane swap?
Yeah, how far deep do you go on guessing if the guessing is guessing?
Plus, then Kaiwing, don't go top before 4 minutes. Do not get detected.
He may have had some discussions with the coaching staff in between the series. So I think that one will be shored up. And that's if indeed we do get a lane swap scenario. It could just be that they're willing to go toe-to-toe and see whether they can win out in the early stages of the laning phase. But I kind of like FlyQuest composition a little bit more than last time around. I think I can see where the damage is going to come from late game. I can see that there's 3 threats that are legitimately terrifying on this squad, and then a lot of CC to back it up. And here we are onto the Rift for game number 2. Fly desperately trying to stay alive here at Worlds 2025. CFO looking to knock them out right here, right now.
And the lane that might determine it could very well be that mid lane. 18-year-old HongQ, massive year for him, so much hype behind him, and you can see the progression from him over every international event that CFO have been to this year. Meanwhile, Quad really had some really bad plays, honestly. I'm just kind of in the previous game.
I was waiting for you to sugarcoat it. And
yeah, I was thinking about it, and it was just bad. But We'll see if they can clean it up here. Doggo is deep. Doggo's behind enemy lines.
The axes are spinning as the Blooming Burst comes on down. This is a flash, definitely. Does have a blast cone there as the rest of CFO. I mean, if you knew that they were looking to get as much information as possible, maybe you weren't expecting all of CFO to just be hanging out here in the jungle. But now, Busio's coming back to lane with one potion. Does have, of course, the ebb and flow, so he's going to be able to heal himself back up again, but that's going to eat through a lot of his mana at this stage of the game.
And it's just what you want to do when you have a Draven lane for bottom side. You want to split jungle pressure. That's the huge reward here. They're trying to go for invade and splitting jungle, all for Doggo and Kaiwing here. You want to isolate this lane, especially with the early damage that you were talking about, burning through both of Busio's potions and summoner spells already. This is just set up so tremendously well for CFO and their bottom side of the map to snowball here. Inspired on the Qiyana, is he just going to accept the split map here and just say Massu and Busio, you just have to defend for yourselves?
And right now, they do have a lot of vision around this area, so no dive is going to come in. But as you say, it's not about the dive. It's about just making sure that this 2v2 will always exist without CFO needing to worry about any sort of Qiyana making her way down.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to remain the case here as Doggo and Kaiwing continuing to lay down the pressure. Inspired now on those Raptors and is at a decent clip as far as clearing out the jungle.
Yeah, and you kind of just have to accept it because it is a Trundle. So Trundle is king in the early stages. Both those junglers, though, have really dominated their regional leagues. As you can see, JunJia, we talked about him, 7 in a row.
And Inspired, I mean, he's been talked about as the Western GOAT for a really long time, and I think he's had a decent Worlds as well. I don't think it's necessarily going to be on him, right? But certainly they need to come together, and we'll see whether they can utilize some of the aggression from Inspired to make things happen. Because Qiyana, if she's going to work, she needs to do stuff. You know, you need to get that ball rolling. As Ardent Blaze, with a little bit of a double tap there, is going to soften up Doggo momentarily. But JunJia still here towards the bottom side after taking down that crab.
And it's always interesting, too, with split maps. Okay, HongQ's going to roam over really early.
Oh, dear.
Inspired's here. They know that this is a possibility. They're going to try and counter.
You can see they can actually see the Ryze as well as the bubble is going to go wide. CFO, I don't think this is a dive angle, as they did want to utilize some of the cannon tech, but it's not quite going to work out. Inspired, good defensive play to make sure that his bottom lane stays alive. But as you can see, as far as the CS numbers, it's almost 2 waves that Doggo has in advantage. As now you can see Rest actually going very aggressive onto Bwipo. The Soul Furnace is going to be there, but not for too much more than just keeping himself alive.
Yeah, Rek'Sai sustain, really, really advantageous up there in the isolated lane.
Ooh, Tangle Barb's going to miss. Probably keeping Massu alive there, as we can see. It's Doggo not off to as good a start as he got last time around. His quad taking a lot of damage here from HongQ. Landing that last Q was actually a big deal, as level 6 is ticked over here for quad. And CFO, I feel, just riding the tempo of their victory in the last game.
They're going to try and spill their advantage over to top lane and go for a dive possibility here. HongQ helping with the invade. JunJia at least going to steal away Gromp. Just get guaranteed value there.
Yeah, Pillar goes down. Inspired trying to dance his way out of here. Going to pick up some terrain, but reset on the Gromp. This might be a little bit over-enthusiastic here by JunJia.
Yeah, I mean, for Smite Fights, Rock Q for Qiyana is very good.
Dear. Here's the dive, 2v2, the flash forward from Doggo, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Massu, he flashes away. There's a stand aside, and there's also a kill in the mid lane. What the heck is going on? It's another one as Rest gets the feats of warfare, and CFO just won everywhere on the map.
Yeah, it's a 1,500 gold lead for CFO. Once again, the Neeko can always just turn into a cannon minion and tank tower shots for days.
It was actually days. It was ridiculous the amount of time that he ate.
Regardless, yeah, you have to knock him out of the cannon form. You got to get like a bubble or something on him if you want to put a stop to those dives. And so Doggo does get the kill early on onto Massu before it goes down. So he got the kill before losing stacks. So he was able to cash in on those. Draven getting paid extra. leading to extra gold lead here, but then also in mid lane.
Just flash forward from HongQ and he just killed him.
Great punishment, and he truly has been outperforming in the mid lane. Continued on, so we get another look at this. So one tower shot with the heal, and good dodge of the bubble, by the way, from Kaiwing. I actually stopped counting because
6 turret shots, I'm pretty sure.
Busio, though, he does finish the job, so he gets the kill afterwards, but critically, the Draven already cashed in. You don't have a tremendous amount of stacks super early on, but you have some, and so is really nice there for Doggo. 700, over 700, the gold lead for him.
That is a big deal. We'll be able to potentially see where the adoration stacks came up as far as the amount of money, but that is Feats of Warfare also over to CFO. We haven't seen a dragon taken just yet, but you can see junglers are towards the bottom side of the map. It might be somewhere that we're looking. 50 seconds until the grubs are up as well, but Fly well and truly on the back foot in this game. They are going to be swapping Massu towards that top side, the train. The port of call going to be this bottom lane outer turret.
So CFO winning every single lane in this game and affords them the luxury of controlling the early game map as well. So constantly having priority there to move in and make the extra move on FlyQuest. We'll see how this continues towards grubs. We're approaching the 8-minute marks here. So this is kind of the break point of, do FlyQuest actually get to change something since they have a Sion, but no ultimate. As you called out, the ulti was used to get back to bottom lane. So Bwipo's actually just using his time to walk up as FlyQuest start this out.
There's no teleport either for Rest, so he's in that bottom lane as well. With the fact that the Sion is here, FlyQuest should be able to guarantee these grubs, and that will be exactly what happens.
So they're going to sacrifice bottom side turret plate money to the Rek'Sai then, and JunJia wants to come in and use his smite.
Well, they're looking for an angle. Supreme Display of Talent does come down as JunJia keeping himself alive there with the ulti. The rest of CFO move over, and that is going to be all 3 of the grubs in the hands of FlyQuest. Nicely done, standing their ground, making sure that CFO don't get anything that they're not allowed to have. As you say, though, Rest is able to answer with that cross map in the bottom lane.
Yeah, that was 2 turret plates that the Rek'Sai is able to earn, as well as minions that were denied as the tower killed them off with nobody around. So FlyQuest investing decently heavy into getting these Void Grubs.
Well, Doggo still trying to fight here as the Blooming Burst comes on down. Tangle Barbs is decent onto Busio, but Massu throws down the culling. That is going to allow FlyQuest to stay at least within touching distance of the amount of health that CFO does have.
They could do a roam from mid. HongQ has Realm Warp. If they Realm Warp over, that could be 4 people diving FlyQuest, and they're going to do it.
Yep, the Realm Warp is going to come in. JunJia looks to turn up. HongQ, that's so much damage already. Why is this Ryze doing so much work? As Massu in so much trouble, the Pop Blossom is going to connect onto Busio. Another cash in, and it's a double for Doggo. 5-1 the kill score, and with 3 of those kills on this Draven, it's looking real good here in game 2 for CFO.
Very successful play. They're able to make it before Busio can soak level 6. Busio on the Nami, still no ultimate, so he didn't have that to create the extra time for the teleport from Quad to come in. Quad's teleport gets nothing. Inspired trying to finish off the Dragon in time, but...
Yeah, it's a 2v2 here. Dragon and Rest against Inspired and Bwipo, and it's the flash out from Inspired to get him to safety. Rest just feeling like he can do anything that he wants here in this bottom lane on this Rek'Sai. Tunneling around. I really like this skin, by the way. Full party Rek'Sai, absolutely fantastic.
Same. That is the
That's
best
the go-to,
one.
right?
That is the best one. Regardless, CFO are very rich.
Yes.
CFO, investing a lot in money, whereas FlyQuest are scraping together some of these early game objectives that don't give you much power outright. So CFO are really well positioned to just steamroll over the rest of this game with keeping up the pressure on every single lane, and they do just that. They're going to push in towards this tower. More turret plate money.
Oh, no.
Stop the recall for extra tempo advantage. It is just so well done here for CFO in the early stages.
And that should be this outer turret falling down here on CFO's side. Unless Quad is going to be enough to deter them. It's a large wave coming on in. Quad might be able to deal with this, but Doggo gets another 2 axes. I mean, he's got a Bloodthirster already at 11 minutes into this game. So just going to wait. Squad is going to be allowed to live for the moment. And I think on this wave, this turret is going to be dead, and I don't think you'd want to push your luck, and that's exactly what he considers as well. So that should be that first turret falling. The last plate picked up as well here by Doggo. And it's already a 2,000 gold lead. Make that about 2.2 just for the Draven alone.
All right. They're just getting turret plates all over the map at the moment.
I think it's a garage sale or something like that. All right, there's another one here, but maybe they can kill Bwipo at the same time. He gets knocked up. JunJia turns up as well. And now, Pillar is going to be put down, and the ulti comes on through for rest. Tries to get himself out of the way. JunJia was tanking the turret. Bwipo is pretty tanky, so they're not going to be able to kill him. Great Bubble is going to catch the Rek'Sai as he tries to flee, and this time, Busio has the wave and takes down the Rek'Sai. FlyQuest answering back.
Putting a stop to this snowball that CFO had been creating. They do get the extra money countering the dive here after it is unsuccessful onto Bwipo. Also allowed them to push out on the rest of the map, so they gain a little bit of breathing room from the onslaught that CFO had been delivering. That takes care of the Ryze teleport, but it is still a extra teleport back and available for rest as well, so they catch the mid wave as well as the bottom wave.
The one good thing is that it's Massu that's able to benefit, right? And so that gold lead that we were just talking about has shrunk about 500 gold. It's probably going to expand again.
Still big, yeah.
We're still at the garage sale, as it turns out. There's just team fights and stuff like that, and Summoner's Rift at the garage sale. And Doggo wants to collect some more plates. He's got a very busy dinner party coming up.
Yeah, I mean, we're also seeing one of the reasons why, if you're a team like CFO that had all 3 winning lanes, you are fine when FlyQuest basically sell out, sending everybody to get Void Grubs, because they're not going to get much money out of those Void Grubs attacking turret plates, because they're almost never up at the turret plates. CFO are the ones with no Void Grubs, and they've taken complete towers in addition to turret plates on all of the other towers as well. So,
and the turret plates still have 30 seconds, right? So it's just mid lane that is really still with a whole bunch of them there. Doggo is, of course, now parked in said mid lane. Looks like the defense is going to come on through. Stand aside comes down. The wave avoided. Doggo able to press W, and he flashes the Flash Wolves sign as well, as it could be on the 10th year since it was the LMS at the time, but an LCP team has made it to the top 8. It could be CFO making it back. It would be such a huge thing, because in that year, it was AHQ and Flash Wolves. They were both there, as the culling is going to come on through here. Now with no turret plates, this turret is under a lot more threat, and especially with a big old Draven there, they will be able to take that one down. Second turret here for CFO as they keep this snowball a-rolling. Bwipo, a little trouble. You can see Rest looking worse for wear as well. And the defense going to continue as Bwipo is just clearing out all of these holes that this Rek'Sai is digging.
Yeah. Well, he's also digging the graves of FlyQuest, it feels like, with this massive lead. And I do love that Doggo is showing, you know, the history here of this region, and it's being so proud of Flash Wolves. Wait a second.
Yeah, the flash in from Inspired still gets the stun onto HongQ, but the phase rush as he gets out of the way. Supreme display of talent is what he was looking for, but he fails to dodge it. And the shutdown money goes to Inspired.
FlyQuest scraping together some mid-game kills. This does not close the gap, but it does get them some money to work with.
And the door was opening, and now at least they've moved it into the direction of starting to close. As Rift Herald immediately going to get started up as well, trying to snowball the play into something else. Without HongQ, it's going to be difficult for CFO to fight, but of course they are going to fight, because they have a very large Draven and the will to do so. Should be this Rift Herald going down, and that is the eye collected by Inspired. So there we go, the pendulum swings once again, now back towards FlyQuest. CFO, I feel like they are just, they know what this comp wants to do, right? They are playing with so much gusto. Everything needs to be, we're moving into the enemy jungle, we're ready to dive, we're ready to try and get kills. Understanding the longevity of the comp isn't necessarily what they're thinking about, as that is going to be JunJia, able to even out these dragons. This is, you're in a turret, that is so much money. Over to CFO, it's a Cloud Soul this game as well, we love to see that. FlyQuest unable to defend, I'll just leave Bwipo to deal with the rest of these minions.
Yep, CFO keeping up the pressure. Nice rotation from them, seeping into the bottom side. Again, the Rek'Sai answer this time around. Constant harassment, constant pressure on the Sion. We'll see about FlyQuest's response for the other side, though.
And Kobe, are you sick of seeing stats that come up and we're like, oh, this player has great stats? I'm kind of sick of that.
You want some bad ones?
Like, because we get JunJia is like 19 and 5 on Trundle. Man, he's so good at Trundle. How about this one? Doggo's Draven, 4 and 10 over his career.
Nice.
Guess what one of those 4 wins was recently? And he looked pretty good on that one against a team that I think are pretty good as well, if I remember correctly from my job.
Yeah, he did get that win over T1 with the Draven, and it was in spectacular fashion.
It was?
Solo killing multiple people in that game. We'll see this time around. It wasn't a solo kill, or they haven't been solo kills for him so far. They were assisted, but it was constant pressure from the opening of the game, and that has been true for CFO as we see them take another tower here. Again, pushing with all lanes. They are not relenting.
Yeah, it's the power identification from this team that is pretty impressive. This, not so much, as a supreme display of talent and just a cheeky Q from Inspired, and he will be able to just kill HongQ. That was a choice.
Another quick kill for FlyQuest. While CFO have kept up the pace and have cashed in, taking all of these towers. 4 towers for CFO, 0 for FlyQuest. FlyQuest are, well, now Bwipo is in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, Kaiwing is going to be able to find him here, but it's a fight on multiple fronts. Pop Blossom invested, and the Flash and ulti will be in exchange as Bwipo is able to make his way to safety. The fight didn't eventuate anywhere else around the Raptors, and so we are going to have a bit of a stalemate. But still about 4,000 gold, the lead for CFO, but they need to keep their foot on the gas.
Yeah, I mean, this 2-item Qiyana. Inspired does a lot of burst damage. He has no more ultimate now.
I've seen this movie before, the one that's happening in the top lane, so we are going, no, we are back here, and he's dead again. It's the same movie. It's on repeat.
Profane Hydra, baby. 2-item power spike for Qiyana. That plus the Umbral Glaive. I mean, these are some cheap items. Profane Hydra was reduced in cost, so even though, FlyQuest have been behind, Inspired individually has the sole gold lead for the team. Level 12 on the Qiyana as well. And if you make these quick bursty plays, is exactly how you want to try and abuse this champion. Of course, they also have the Rift Herald to work with. So next time when they make one of these quick bursty plays, they could cash in on their first turret of the game and start to make more and more headway towards closing this gold lead. They have taken little chunks out of it.
Yeah, every little by little. And it could also be another opportunity to pick themselves up another dragon, right? It's currently even, so it's not like a race to get themselves a soul or anything like that, but having a dragon advantage is always so incredibly valuable. You can see CFO, though, all grouping towards his top side, looking to steal away this blue buff for now. HongQ's decided that he just wants some bodyguards, and I do not blame him based on what has happened over the last 6 or so minutes of this game. I think his Azir was absolutely phenomenal in the last game, but this Ryze has been targeted. See how he manages to cope with this, as once again, they're just running towards him. Does get stunned up as the tidal wave comes in as well. There's a great knock-up, flash out of the way from the bubble. That is still HongQ once again under a whole lot of threat as Massu with the cleanse. As Kaiwing needs to get himself out of that situation. I don't think this Otacon is going to be an option for them as Massu dashing in. Supreme Display of Talent goes wide as Inspired also able to get into stealth. That will be able to keep him alive against Doggo and rest, but you can see that CFO, they want nothing to do with this fight.
Yeah, that is flash on both HongQ and Doggo. So FlyQuest actually get value out of it.
And it wasn't actually the dragon that they were looking for. It was the Otacon instead, down to 50% here as JunJia puts his own pillar down as they want to take out Tibbers before this fight is going to break out. But I mean, there just aren't very many people here for CFO. It'd have to be a steal as now rest, looking for that angle, trying to find the knockups here as out he goes as Doggo just takes down Quad. They're all starting to explode and now he presses W, runs forward. Massu trying to get out of there. The axe from downtown down. And he gives the thumbs up as he looks to chase out Massu here. There it is. Grabs the triple. And Doggo on this Draven, looking like it won't be adding to that 10 column.
The Realm Warp Neeko ultimate, beautiful engage from CFO. HongQ is able to get Kaiwing right on top of FlyQuest, and they take down every last member. Clean ace.
Oh my goodness, CFO busy trying to count them out here, and it looked like with that Rift Herald they might be able to make the play, but it wasn't the case, and CFO now move to an 8,000 gold lead as we have a look at it again.
Here it is, Realm Warping in, the Pop Blossom. Here comes Kaiwing, they get the lockup onto the front line. Inspired gets killed before the Otacon is within stealing range. And Doggo's just chasing down all of the extra members. Once again, he did go with the same experimental Hexblade build that he did versus T1, and he chases them all down.
Okay, well, we have been in this situation before, Kobe. It was the last game. This is CFO with a huge advantage here. 7.5 thousand gold. They're going to grab themselves this next dragon as well as HongQ. Going to try and get some revenge here as Inspired is lying in wait. Looks like HongQ's not going to be pushing too far forward. That's a lot of gold there for that Draven. Now with a 4.5 thousand individual lead and the most money in the game. CFO, let's see whether they can cleanly close this one out or whether Fly is going to miraculously find themselves a way back into this game.
Yeah. Historical game this is going to be for CFO, as we have mentioned. You know, for the region, 2015, the last time LCP/PCS/LMS made it to quarterfinals, and it just seems so right for this CFO team. The progression that we have seen from them at international events over the year, really impressive stuff, and it does seem like HongQ and Doggo really deserving these carries for the team to move on and to try and impress.
I think it's so cool that we've got such a mixture of like veteran talent and brand new players, and then players that have been some of the best over the last few years. It's not like you've got one age group, then an old guy, or just a few veterans and then the young gun like carry. Like it's, you know, you've got JunJia with Duro as the little baby, but then everybody else is old, and then you've got T1 with Faker as the old guy, but everyone else is young. Yeah. This is, I feel like, a mix of a whole lot from CFO. But all of them just work so beautifully together. All 6 of the players on this team, as Rest has come in now on the Rek'Sai and looking to play a little bit more of that aggressive style. We have seen a few different builds. Sojin seems to be the one that is a little bit more popular as far as a second item, but we did see more tanky options. I do kind of like being able to just try and assassinate your target while still being a bruiser.
Yeah, I think it is important to have that extra damage threat to really be able to threaten lethal on the back line. Definitely a big fan of the Sojin on top. FlyQuest going to do their best to withstand the onslaught of CFO, but at this point you are so outgunned just due to the giant wallet difference resulting in these item breakpoints here.
And it's a Mercurials that was picked up here by Doggo as well. So it's not, and people say this all the time, right? It's the defensive items that you get to build as a luxury item can really be the difference maker because you already have the damage. We saw he already has the damage, and now you can't CC him anymore. And that's going to make things really, really rough. Obviously, they have a whole bunch of knockups as well, so it's not just like anti-stuns and things like that that you do need to worry about, but I don't think Doggo is going to be too concerned about that one.
Yeah, and he's very tanky with this build, with the like bruisery build, with the Bloodthirster and the Hexblade. So we'll see.
They're taking it very slow.
Yeah, the split push is correct here for CFO. Keep your bottom side pushing. They've got teleport ready on Rest. So the rest of them going to apply pressure towards this Baron. 4-1 split push, and top lane's already going in their favor. So FlyQuest are getting kind of trapped in their own territory at the moment.
And it's just looking difficult to identify what the next play you should make is. As Bwipo was trying to find a little bit of an angle, the pillar comes down, Tangle Barbs as well to hold him in place, but he's not exactly a priority target. Rest seems to have found Quad here, who's looking to clear out this minion wave underneath the turret to avoid that one falling down to the Rek'Sai. And CFO just moved back towards this Baron. Cheeky little ward there is actually unseen, as now the pillar is doing great work against Bwipo once again. Good double knock-up though, as he finds the ulti onto 2. That is going to be another Pop Blossom connecting though out of Kaiwing. He finds the double, as Bwipo able to make his way up, but Doggo finds that last act. Supreme display of talent doesn't work at all, and Doggo keeps himself alive because, like you say, this guy's a tank on the Draven. Busio's turned into fish food. It's another multi-kill here as the ace comes in for CFO, and it is clean once again.
And they are looking to finish their 2-0 and move on to quarterfinals.
And I've made a lot of ending calls about decades and things like that before. Here is another one, as CFO are going to do it after 10 years, making it to the top 8 here at Worlds 2025 after their extraordinary years so far. It only gets better for the Oysters.